but he's going to find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So New off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only up front, they are getting a weird, but Lee Aberdeen and Luca Bavani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin. And I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately, isn't it? What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well. Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third. Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of the line. It's now Pike. Good have a go. Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. They're going to toss it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line, though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now, though, for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again for the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. We tick over into the second half of Season 2, and all the coverage is brought to you here on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. My name is Zach Sweeney, Dean Biggles alongside me for the ride here as we take to the United States after a very, very fun race a week ago. It's looking good in the championship after a very successful weekend for David Holland, taking his 4th race win in a row. However, the very, very quick alien at the front of the field is not here today. That means the margin for the win is definitely wide open as we battle our way around the Charlotte Motor Speedway, a very fun track, especially in these junior open wheel machines. Dean, well, once again, 40 laps of racing action, and I think we're in for a fun one tonight here at Charlotte.
Stay out of the fence. Stay out of the fence, because we've seen a few drivers doing that during a practice session, and it does tighten up. It narrows into this super speedway that converts into the inner field. So let's see if the drivers can do it. They're underway for their qualifying session, a lone qualifying, so they'll just be by themselves on the track there. And Mackenzie Rood's out there. Daniel is looking pretty sharp there with purple for the first sector. Second sector's actually been replaced at the moment, so he should be coming across the line soon there and see what sort of time that Dan the man can put on the timing tower.
Yeah, he's looking very quick. Dan Whitfield, of course, he didn't have the best of weeks at Brands Hatch. A couple of mistakes, however, that does not mean his pace is going unnoticed. His improvements over the course of the last few weeks, I mean, and that's improving on already what was a very strong foundation for Dan Whitfield. He is a very successful driver, incredibly quick on his day, and that has just proved it. He takes provisional pole position, albeit 19 thousandths of a second quicker than Mackenzie Roon. Of course, the two of them battling away for the Season 1 title a couple of months ago. They know what it's like to battle one another, and they know what the stakes are going to be like, especially on a day where David Holland isn't here. Dan Whitfield, Mackenzie Roon battling away still for pole position. You can see there, Roon just able to get himself about a tenth and a half quicker in the fight for pole position. But yes, the improvements that these drivers are making. And again, not only talking about Dan Whitfield, but also Mackenzie Roon. The fact at the beginning of this season, David Holland was winning races by 25, 30 seconds. And last time out at Brands Hatch, it was only about 5 seconds between Roon and Holland at the end of it. So still some massive gains to be had. And also, here's Alex Rivera. He's a little bit of a shy person, I suppose, not necessarily in terms of the literal sense, but more in the case that we never really see him out on track. But when we do, he is mightily quick, let's put it that way. He takes provisional pole position, 77 thousandths of a second quicker than Mackenzie Roon. And Biggles, I think that fight between Rivera, Roon and Whitfield is going to be very interesting now that the win is actually on the cards.
It absolutely is. And let's see if Mod can get herself into a great qualifying position. She did actually last week, but unfortunately, couldn't quite. She got to pull off at the side of the road and elected to go out of this one. Mackenzie Roon at the moment not happy to be the number 2 on the timesheets. He's got a little bit of 77 thousandths of a second to make up there for Mr. Mac Man in the 11 machine. Let's see. Just a rounding and actually finished off across the line there. Alex Rivera now on a flyer to try to compensate for any of that 75 thousandths of a second. Alex wants a little bit more time on his side. Final corner on the loud pedal. See the car sliding around. That means you're putting the power down there. Alex will improve to 11.42.
Nice. Good stuff from Alex Rivera. Again, showing the swiftness of the Charlotte Roval circuit. Only 1:11 in lap time. It's short, it's sweet, but it's a lot of fun. I remember my earliest memories of iRacing were at this circuit in the Formula V machine. Essentially what is a Formula Ford. With very raw, again, an open wheel car, but no rear wing, very tough on the brakes, really does train the rookies in iRacing up to speed really well. It's a fun, fast, flowing circuit, and especially when you take around the oval as well, it's a lot of fun to participate. You've got the chicanes, you've got the high speed, the low speed, and the flowing nature of this circuit is quite oftentimes unrivaled by some, and yeah, one that I am very looking forward to seeing these drivers battle it out 40 laps. Of course, we did say last time at Brands Hatch it was going to be a night race. Unfortunately, that's not the case. After a little bit of testing and things, it's decided it's going to be better to keep it as a little bit of a low sun, dusky sort of atmosphere, which does add to a very picturesque vibe here in Charlotte. Alex Rivera, though, for the self-entitled Muppets, the 222 machine pulls his way into pit lane towards the back end of qualifying, and I think with everyone in the pit lane, that is qualifying done and dusted. Alex Rivera, though, able to take pole position, Dean.
Absolutely getting it done and getting it done. Look at those chicanes there. Beautiful, obviously, in the United States of America. Flag there for those chicanes. So if you want to be patriotic, it's not a bad thing to cross them as quickly as possible. Just don't jump them too much, as we will get the official results coming in a second. Pretty much what you see is what you're going to get, because I don't think any of the race control can interrupt that qualifying performance right now, as we're just waiting for it to cruise on in by for the official results to get this race underway. Welcome everybody in the chat. We all love your feedback. Let us know how your weekend has been for motor racing. Of course, back here for the SR4S. Kicking yourself a bit in the butt racing for the butt kicker. And if you want to be joining up to be a part of participating in this league, don't forget the Discord, and all the information is in the description below. Somehow race control is taking a bit of time there, Zachary. I don't know what is happening. Just checking that there is no bits and pieces of carbon fiber on the track or something like that.
Well, I think it's because they want to get the most out of their session. They still technically have 18 seconds that they can take to the track. They're not going to be able to get a lap time in, but if they wanted to, I don't know, do whatever they want out on track for now what is 10 seconds, then they're more than welcome to. But we will tick our way into the race session. As I say, 40 laps here at the Charlotte Roval will translate to about 45 minutes of racing action. And, well, what a fun race it should be. Of course, fixed setup, these Formula 3 cars. There are no tweaks that the drivers can make apart from maybe minor brake bias changes. And, well, here's the grid. Alex Rivera, Mackenzie Roon, the front row. Even on the day that David Holland is absent, Mackenzie Roon can only muster up second place. Down Whitfield, Robert Ridgway, the second row, with Brian Long, a very good fifth place. Andy Yeager rounds off row 3 with Modley's Kiko and Guy Kiao. Row 4, Anthony Zyken, Dominic Angelicchio, the top 10, with Petter Vedding rounding off the 11th spot on the field. Mackenzie Roon, of course, Alex Rivera, Dan Whitfield have all been sort of racing in the shadow of David Holland for quite some time this season, and not to sort of rise him to such a pedestal and make all the drivers seem below him, but he has been that driver to step up in this season, and now we've got 3 drivers who are hungry, eager and capable of winning this race. Don't forget Robert Ridgway as well. He's also in the mix. A lot can happen over the course of the next 40 laps, Dean, and we're expecting absolute carnage and a lot of fun between that top 4 battle for the win.
I'm expecting those walls to come out and take a few prisoners around here, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Absolutely. So we'll see if they can navigate their way through. Remember, it's a long race. You're only going to win it if you see Barney waving that checkered flag at the end. You're not going to win it on the first lap in the first corner, but you know that for a fact, Zach, and we've all seen it before. Drivers will seize gaps. If gap car, perhaps. Well, if gap checkered flag is what you really want the other day. So they're going to be all lining up. Alex will be on the front row on the inside, and on the outside there will be next to Mackenzie Roon. So keep an eye on that battle in turn 1.
Yeah, for sure. Well, moments away from getting ourselves underway for round number 5 of the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. Sat on the grid for quite a while, but all the drivers have now taken to their grid spots. We will eagerly be waiting for the 5 red lights to illuminate your screen as we kickstart the second half of this brilliant season. Alex Rivera, Mackenzie Roon, Dan Whitfield and Robert Ridgway lock out the top 2 rows. All 5 lights are on, all 5 lights are out, and we are go here in Charlotte. A good run towards turn number 1 for Alex Rivera from pole position, but look for Mackenzie Roon on the outside as he tries to catapult himself into the lead of the race. They all set their way into single file. It's a long way round through turn number 1, fighting their way through the first sector, though the fast and flowing nature. Be careful of the grass on the left-hand side. They fight their way through, and as it stands, it's a good start from Alex Rivera.
Getting it done where you need to get it done, exactly holding off the defense at the moment. You can see right now riding on board Mackenzie Roon, and he's going to be sizing himself up. A little bit of a switcheroo between most of those drivers, but so far so good. No race control messages saying you're pointing in the wrong direction, partner. No, you're not. You're pointing in the right direction. Welcome to Charlotte, and welcome this banking elevation. You got a combination of the super speedway and then the inner. So you do have to turn left and you do have to turn right.
You do. So it's a mixture of both, and well, even the American contingent of this circuit know how to do that. In fact, they sometimes know how to do it even better than the Europeans. Brian Long under pressure from Model E's. Kiko is off the road. Goes Andy Yeager. He's locked the rears. He spun the car and backwards into the barrier. That is unfortunate for him. I don't think there's much contact, but look for the slipstream as we talk about the high-speed nature of the Charlotte Roval, the combination into the chicane, the final chicane, and it's single file between Alex Rivera and Mackenzie Roon. But look out for this battle because Mackenzie Roon is all over the rear end of Alex Rivera.
Yep, sizing him up at the moment as you're going to go in the inner field here. You can see beautiful conditions here as the sun is setting or the earth is rotating away from the sun. Either way, the drivers aren't too concerned about that right now. They're going to be focused on their braking point, focusing on potential overtaking. Mackenzie Roon, of course, is focusing on overtake. Alex is focusing on defense. Best offense is defense sometimes there, Zach.
Sometimes, yeah, but for Alex Rivera, he's not really got anyone to attack, apart from maybe some lap times. He has got to be mindful of Dan Whitfield, though, because, as I say, the improvements that he's been making is stellar, and he is not a driver to be messed with. I'm surprised we haven't seen the entire family tree of the Whitfields in our YouTube chat as it stands, but if you are watching along, ladies and gentlemen, even if you aren't a Whitfield, it's a pleasure to have you, and make sure you are commenting, liking, giving us your thoughts, your feelings, queries, questions, whatever tickles your fancy, as we talk you through some brilliant racing action here at Charlotte. Alex Rivera, a little bit wide going through that chicane and could leave him susceptible maybe to a run from Mackenzie Roon. You can see the gap closing between the two of them. Is it going to be enough to see a change for the lead? Is Mackenzie Roon eager enough on the brakes? Not quite on this occasion, but surely he's got to be sizing it up soon.
Yeah, got some time there. Got to see whether or not your opponent. So more of a psychological warfare game right now. And that's right, simulation, but it's a psychological game that you want to play. So Alex obviously going to set another fastest lap. Oh, different racing line right now. Got to compromise a bit of exit speed here. Scrubbing it as you swing it to the right twice. Stay off the sleeping policeman, as I like to call it in certain parts of the world. And gives Mr. Alex Rivera a little bit of breathing space. Look at that, a 1.4 second gap to Dan, the man in the background. Maybe Dan needs a bit of a fan boost from his family, mate, to get him back into this party with these two.
Oh yeah, that is the that's the worry sometimes. But you know, these two having a very fun time out in front. They're very much enjoying themselves and having a fiesta of their own. Potentially could be the fireworks of this lead battle. But again, Dan Whitfield, Robert Ridgway fighting over third. Also this battle here, Guy Kiao looking to go to the inside of Petter Wedding. Not quite close enough. A little bit of a lock on the brakes, lock in the background as well from Angelico, but no major changes between these guys. They're all chill and calm, composed, collected for the opening stage of this race, which is exactly what you want. You don't want people going up there too quickly, guns are blazing, but look at this. Mackenzie Roon still all over the back of Alex Rivera, even setting a little bit of a quicker lap time on that previous attempt.
You can see right now, look at that, different racing lines as well too, throwing it off. It gets a little bit bumpy. Absolutely playing mind games is what you love. Sizing up your opponent. What do you think about that one too there, Zach? It puts more stress, do you think, on being the driver? I've said this before. Would you like to be the driver being chased or the driver chasing the other driver?
Well, see, being chased is the driver that is looking in their mirrors under a little bit of pressure, thinking, how can they defend? The driver behind is thinking, how can I win this? How can I get myself ahead? How can I put some pressure on? That's exactly what Mackenzie Roon is about to do. It's the outside going into the penultimate chicane. He's got the nose ahead, but not quite enough. And he's looped the car, and he's backwards going through the chicane. Mackenzie Roon has thrown it all away. And now he is a driver who is going to have to be on a charge. Forget defending. He needs to be all-out attack, ready for anything that comes his way. And, well, I suppose the balance and the scales tip some ways. Alex Rivera was more composed in that battle. Unfortunately for Roon, it was a costly mistake.
Auntie Mary at the moment is watching for Daniel, and Daniel will be watching with a nice little smile on his face as he saw that happening up the road there and didn't actually get involved and snatched a nice 2P2 position on that. We're going to replay that in just a second because there's Mackenzie Roon at the moment having to make their way back up through. Great battle forming here in the back at the moment with Mr. Peter there and Mr. Yeager. Oh, had the lift off, of course, through there. And Angelique called them. I'm going to get that one all wrong, but here we go. Go back to a little bit of the replay, what happened here at the start of the race there of Andy Yeager. Now, 2 into 1. Something's going to happen here. And there it is, just hit. That's those nasty sleeping policemen that I was talking about earlier. They're going to throw that car off because you need a little bit of traction. Further back, another little bit of a replay has happened here. Mr. Dominic, and I think that's just part of that, seeing that car going around. Oh, it wasn't there actually. He's gone around. Oh, that's a strange incident to occur. And really quickly, while we have a brief second, doesn't go all pearl-shaped on us, as it seems to have done. Can't replay 2 replays, I think. Zachary, is your cat back in here again, chewing on those cables?
No,
Are you sure?
absolutely not. Yeah. I don't have a cat, actually, so that's impossible. That's never happened.
Oh, I thought you did. My apologies. We can't get these live pictures at the moment. It's breaking. You can see right now it's trying its best. It doesn't appear to be live pictures.
Yeah, well, that's something. Of course, we'll bring it back to you, the live action, as soon as we can. All that we can do for now is comment on the fact that Alex Rivera leads Dan Whitfield and Robert Ridgway by about 2.5 seconds between the two of them. After Rune's spin, it's now the two of them battling. Well, no one really fighting at the front. Alex Rivera being able to cap up himself about 2.5 seconds clear. But Mackenzie Rune is fighting with Model E's Kiko. This is for the final place inside the top 5. Are we finally able to get ourselves back to the live pictures? I'm not entirely sure. Dean Biggles working tirelessly in order to make sure that everything is as smooth as possible. This is a little bit earlier on in the race between Mackenzie Rune and Alex Rivera. You can see the very vibrant second place car trying to chase after the red and blue of Alex Rivera. But as for now, we're on to lap number 7. We've completed 6, we're on to 7. And Alex Rivera, the 222 machine, running away with things out in front and not chased by Mackenzie Rune, or that might be what he was intending. It's unfortunately not copying his race team name, and is now on a fight back towards the front. Fortunately, he's done it at the start of the race, which means that he's got plenty of time in order to fight his way back through the field, albeit maybe a little bit difficult now to top the very quick Alex Rivera, who is, well, absolutely dominating out in front. Is this a replay of what potentially happened? I think it is. You can see how it happened. Mackenzie Rune goes to the right, tries to get the leg on the braking zone, but just turn in with too much speed and loop the car around on the rear end. Of course, these Formula 3 cars not assisted by traction control or ABS or anything of the sort. Very raw, passionate cars, and unfortunately Mackenzie Rune on the receiving end of some unfortunate driving mistakes, and then a tap of the barrier on the exit for good measure.
Yeah, bear with us at the moment. Still trying to sort that out as best you can. Maybe you can explain that as a radio cast for now, as what the situation is. I'm working tireless behind me. We'll get that sorted out tomorrow.
Of course, he's doing his best. Of course, is Dean Biggles, and well, he is making sure that we will have the live pictures as soon as we possibly can. We thank everyone, of course, for watching along with us here on the Broadcasting. Hang on, give me a minute. JP Broadcasting, there we go. Because I keep going to say JP Broadcasting or JPB. One of the two, all right? Both work, whatever tickles your fancy. My name is Zach Sweeney, Dean Biggles alongside me in the commentary booth, and we're here for James Parfit Broadcasting here on YouTube. Again, if you are enjoying the broadcast, do make sure to give it a like, a thumbs up on the stream, and subscribe, and make sure you are tuning in. We are back to live action. Mackenzie Rune, you can see there chasing down the good old lioness of Model E's Kiko. She's very, very fast, very consistent driver as well, and look at how close the two of them are. Two of the most vibrant liveries on the circuit, and two of the closest cars as well. Mackenzie Rune pulling out to the right-hand side. He's going to have a longer distance round on the oval, but it's going to be at the inside by the time they get to the chicane, and once again he's made a mistake. He's locked the rear end. He goes pirouetting round, cuts across the chicane, and another mistake for Mackenzie Rune. He's not really had a good start.
No, absolutely not. And we're thankful we are back in live pictures. So there goes Anthony. Slices his way back up through it, sees us an opportunity, and you will do that on 9 of 38 at the moment. Thank you. We are back for the live pictures. I'm a little cautious and scared by throwing up those replays at the moment there, Zach. So I think we'll just leave it be for now. I have unfortunately missed a lot of those replays earlier because I had to well, completely, basically, you know, we all know. Turn it off and turn it back on again, right? Solves the problems.
Oh, yeah, of course. And That's how everything works. Oh my goodness me, Alex Rivera over the sausage curb, making a huge mistake going through that penultimate chicane. He's able to continue going, he's all good, but a scary moment nonetheless, a small little bit of a mistake from the 222 machine, and now the fight continues. Mackenzie Roon back onto the back of Anthony Zeich, struggling, and I mean, he's a warrior, he will persevere, he will drive to the end as best as he can, but he's now, what is that, 9, 11-ish, about maybe 15 seconds off the leader in the early stages of this race already. Maybe even a bit more. Maybe 16, 17 off the leader. It's not looking great for Mackenzie Roon.
No, but all you got to do is get your head down there and just try to complete as much as you can with essentially we're looking at 29 laps to go, so anything can happen. At least one thing, his sponsors out there for the intended racing will be happy to get a lot of TV exposure, because that is the closest battle you can see currently in your pictures live here on the JP Broadcasting Network.
Course. Only the best when it comes to us. We do our best when it comes to delivering broadcasts and making sure that it all looks nice and pretty, which the Charlotte Roval tonight does. As we say, it's very dusk and a low sun in the skies and making it look all warm and lovely. So any photographers that maybe want to get in on this and take some pictures, by all means, go for it. Mackenzie Roon is going to be looking for a very picturesque move into the inside this time of the chicane, and it's worked out better for him. He's murked his way back into 6th place, albeit 4 places down on where he initially started, but still fighting, still working his way through, and boom, there we are. JP Broadcasting along with WD-40, and there's that potato sticks as well on the inside of that rear wing. Nice.
Yeah, he couldn't have scripted that any better, couldn't you? Absolutely brilliant. That's what we like to see. When the pitches are working and the cars are flowing, a speed's pointing in the right direction and considering another battle there at the moment. There's Robert. So for the Whitfield family out there, stay tuned, get your popcorn, because Daniel has to hold off Mr. Roberto for the Atomic Racing 117 machine there on his tailpipe with the clear visor, going for it.
Oh yeah, he's working his way. There he is, Robert Ridgway for Atomic Racing, and he's going to be hoping that this race isn't going to be ending in an Oppenheimer fashion.
Oh, yeah, I was
blowing
waiting
up
for
in
that.
front of him. He's going to be trying to end it on a high, and well, to be fair, Oppenheimer. It's
Spoiler
not too bad in
alert!
cinema.
Don't spoil the movie. Don't spoil it. I don't know what happens at the end. Of course, that's one of those. It's one of those movies. Of course, you're always going. It's like Pearl Harbor and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? Pretty sure you're going to know what's happening, unless you don't read any history books. But I don't know whether or not Daniel Whitfield here has seen the end of this chapter in this motor race.
I don't think so. And he's looking backwards, he's defending, and he's very good at that, is Dan Whitfield. Again, we gave him a bit of stick last week, and that was only because we didn't see the Dan Whitfield that we were used to. He's phenomenal in his own right. He is rapid, incredibly quick, and incredibly ready to win races, get podiums, and score highly. But Robert Ridgway is pounding the pressure on, waiting for an opportunity to find his way past, and what we're here all for it. Dan Whitfield, Hellmans, going for the mayonnaise look on his Formula 1 machine, which is fair enough. Again, I like the sponsor decals on all of these cars. We like to see it. We love to see the interesting designs these drivers come up with, and well, Dan Whitfield is going to be hoping that, well, the mayonnaise is the top condiment, so he's going to be wanting to stay ahead and prove that Hellmans is the best in that regard. Again, not sponsored by Hellmans. Other mayonnaise brands are available, the likes of Heinz, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Asda's own, whatever tickles your fancy. I don't really mind what mayonnaise you prefer. I just prefer mayonnaise. Anyway, Robert Ridgway, we have got a race on our hands. We're on lap 13 of 38 Biggles, and this race continues on quite nicely.
Good exit through there at the moment, just dicing with death essentially on those chicanes, as we're going to see Mr. Robert really applying the pressure thick and fast at the moment, as Dan goes a little slidey, twirly whirly, but once again, he don't want to be mirror driving. Now for the Whitfield family out there, just tell Mr. Daniel, don't drive in your mirrors and focus on your own racing, and at least try to keep Mr. Roberto at bay. 13 of 38 currently at the moment here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yep, approaching half distance. Of course, when we get to lap 19, we'll be halfway through. These drivers do have to make a mandatory pit stop as well throughout the race. Only a splash and dash, nothing too major, nothing too strategical, but just something to note that you will have to battle your way down pit lane, you will have to stop in your box, and you will have to exit your box as well. And we mention it because it is something as trivial as that. Dominic Angelichio, though, with a small little bit of a crash, unfortunately, towards the middle of the circuit. Again, an easy place to get a crash done because the way the track, it's a blind apex right hand that you're running your way into. Especially here, you can see flat out through this right, and then immediately you're trying to balance the brake pressure while also turning into a blind apex right-hander. It was a tap on the wall on the inside that initially sent the car sideways. The driver behind as well, very wise to the fact, and worked his way past. Very well held from Angelichio, it must be said. He continues on in 10th place.
There you have it. So the replay system's working back again. So I'm exploring boundaries that are dicing of death, just as these two drivers. Alex Rivera, of course, is still leading this race by about 4.3 seconds to change up the road there. And that's what happens, race drivers, when you do lead the race comfortably. Don't get too much TV time. Talk to Max Verstappen about that one. But keep an eye on this battle. It's still glued to your screens. Of course, you can see at the moment the drivers that have made their gains and losses. We all know Mackenzie Rune's the one that's currently sitting there in P6, 4 positions down. Here we go. This is going to take the ultimate skill there from Daniel to hold off of Mr. Charging Robert Ridgway.
Yep, side by side between the two of them, close to contact as well as they deter themselves away from each other. Ridgway has the inside for the final chicane. He takes the better racing line through, and down Whitfield completely oblivious to that one, not really able to really make much of a defence, unfortunately, relative to Robert Ridgway, who finds his way past. Brilliantly done, of course, from Robert Ridgway, and, well, there we go. Up to second place, down Whitfield. Just going to show how easy it is to lose a lot of time here at the Charlotte Roval. That chicane, very one-line orientated, and as soon as you're offline, Dean, you can easily lose a second and a half, as we've just seen.
It is complicated. It's very difficult, and you may not have seen it there because we weren't broadcasting it, but during the practice session, they were pushing it to the absolute limits, and that's what practice is all about. Thankfully, in the sim world, you can smash that car into the barriers a few times and not have to buy it dinner and flowers, because they'll get that car repaired and you can get back out there again. That's why you do it in the practice sessions. As Dominic has gone into pit road early to try an alternative strategy. Why not? He's in P10, really nothing to lose. Started P10, currently running a P10. What about Mod? You know, Elise. She is, you know, we all know she makes up a lot of places during the races. She's about 1.5 down the road there from Brian Long. She should be able to catch up to Brian and do something about it.
Maybe so. I would expect that she would want that top 4 again, a very quick driver. She always comes in and has a chat with us. She's one of the first people we speak to when we get to our round of interviews, and she's always uplifted and happy despite how well or poorly her race has been. And yeah, her recent run of form, maybe a couple of lower midfield finishes, but now she's back in the fight, back where she deserves to be, and back fighting with Brian Long. Two of the drivers, actually, Kiko and Long, have shown some really good progression forwards. Again, we give Brian Long a lot of stick, and that's because it's completely funny and he loves it, and I've actually been given permission by him to give him stick because, again, it's funny, and he's an easy target. But anyway, I will give him some accreditation because he's actually a decent driver sometimes. Again, runs the coaching side of things of SR4S and teaches some drivers the ropes. Again, he said himself he's not an alien, but he knows enough to deliver some tips to newer, less experienced drivers, and he's showing exactly why he deserves to be the coach of the sim racing for Simpletons, up there in 4th place, fighting away with Modelese Kiko, and holding his own, in all fairness, against even the brilliance of Dan Whitfield and Robert Ridgway, who are matching quite closely, to be fair, his lap times. We'll see on that previous lap, a 12.4 for Brian Long, a 12.7 initially for Whitfield. In fact, Brian Long is quicker than the two in front of him. He's the quickest one on track at the moment, a 12.2 for Rivera and 11.9 for Brian Long.
I think he just got he just got a little bit of the Zachary boost there at the moment, commentator's boost. They gave him that little. I like that, sitting on the fence quite well. Very diplomatic, my friend.
See, I'll take responsibility for that one.
Yeah,
I'll take responsibility. If they do better because of me, that's because I'm amazing and I've just blessed them. It's the commentators bless. Yeah. But if they crash out and have skill issues, that's not my problem. It's a bit of a double standard, but I don't care. If they do well, it is my fault. I've made them do well. But if they do bad, I've got nothing to do with it. Simples.
Oh, Zachary just wants to be the nice guy at every party, every racetrack, doesn't he?
Easy.
Yeah. All right. I see that. I see that.
I sound like my head is as big as it can't fit through doors. I promise I'm not really like this. It's just I find it funny, so I'm going to rock with it.
Well, at the moment, these drivers are in the 13 clubs, and Brian, as you said, was in the 11 clubs. So, well, with Model East Kiko, she was trying to catch up to him, but unfortunately doing 12s. Then again, you look at that; it's barely half at 1/10. So it's not like you're pulling Max Verstappen laps in and against a Alfa Romeo or something like that. It's just whoa, what's happened here at the moment? What? Oh, Brian.
Oh,
Brian!
See, that's not my fault.
Yes, it is. Absolutely 150% your fault. No, it's not actually. It's Brian's. Oh.
Skill issues, unfortunately.
I haven't even got anything in the race control to say what happened to Brian.
I don't know.
All I have is this as a replay just to say that Mike got past Brian. And oh, there it is. Oh, that's a tank slapper and a half for old Brian. And Mud will take that one any day of the week.
Yeah, she's not going to be complaining with that one. But unfortunate for Brian Long nonetheless. To be fair, he's still inside the top 5, still continuing on, and that's the most important thing. If there is a little bit of damage, he can get a fast repair at the pit stops. They do get 1 for unfortunate incidents. I was brushing myself back up on the rule book, so it's nice and fresh in my mind in regards to what the luxuries the drivers do get. They do get 1 free fast repair, which means you stop in your box and boom, like magic. All of your worries and repairs are finished and beautiful, and it doesn't cost you a thing. Maybe like half a second in the pit lane or whatever for the game to actually register. And into the pit lane, Brian Long. So maybe having to take an early stop due to some damage.
Sorry. Wow. Too much coal in my diet. But yeah, I'd probably be sitting down there in the exhaust fumes from the garage. But yeah, coming back to that one. The beauty of the virtual sim world is that I do agree with that. I think that it makes for some exciting racing, that drivers get a second chance essentially to get that car fixed up just like that, you could see, and back out on the track. Otherwise, you don't want to be watching a race with 5 drivers left because everybody's got damage. No, that's no fun. That's the real world if you want to watch boring races in the real world. But in the virtual world, here at the Sim Racing for Simpletons, you get some action.
Of course you do. These guys. Again, we've had the pleasure of talking them through all of their racing action since their inception. I think it was around, it might have been sort of March this year, potentially, somewhere in that vein, when we first began broadcasting for them. I remember being sat in college and James was like, do you want to do some F3s on a Saturday? I was like, yes, please. Like, sign me up, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Biggles is there, that's fine. I can set that aside. We're doing F3s.
I thought you were in kindergarten at that point. Partner.
No.
Oh,
college.
College.
I'm not that young.
Yeah, right.
I'm not that young. I'm still 17, Dean. It's fine. All right, chill. I'm not a baby. I might be. It's shush. But anyway, we have had the pleasure of commentating on all of their actions since the start of Season 1. And, well, we're into the second half of Season 2, and they're still as bright, beautiful, and shining as ever. Alex Rivera, though, is going to be loving the spotlight here in Charlotte as he leads the way by 6 and a bit seconds over Robert Ridgway. It's been a very consistent run of form so far for Alex Rivera, and already into the second half of this race, he's looking as calm, composed, and collected as anyone out there and really rising to the occasion.
Well, who's looking calm, cool, collective at the moment? Mr. Mackenzie Roon, because he's got a couple of cars up the road to try to do something about. And you got to remember too, Mackenzie Roon has just come freshly out of the pit road, so he's got that pit stop done and dusted. Now, all he has to do is get rid of these 2 opponents to him on the track, and then he can make his way up into P6, perhaps.
Oh, for sure. Definitely for Mackenzie Roon, which P6, not a bad result. But if you said that to Mackenzie Roon earlier, he'd have been like, nah, mate, absolutely not. Side by side as well, as Andy Jaeger tries to find his way past Petter Wedding. They could potentially have a 3-wide moment here. You can see they settle into single file, but we're very close to all being alongside each other. Now with the slipstream, they fly in formation. It's the high line for Jaeger. Mackenzie Roon says, thank you very much, assisted by the slipstream, and might now go for the move as well on Petter Wedding. He goes wide into the chicane, not again for Mackenzie Roon. He's able to keep it within the confines of the track, albeit with a slower exit, and here comes Jaeger. Not quite close enough for the move into turn number 1, but still giving him a good look. Mackenzie Roon up into 7th, eyeing up 6th.
Oh, Mackenzie doesn't want 7th, my friend. He wants a little bit of the Norwegian driver. That's the second time around. We had a Norwegian driver that just, spoiler alert, won the F1 series earlier for a different broadcasting, well, different racing league. But still, Mackenzie, well, Peter is not going to allow this one. Here is the exit on the banking elevation. This should give you a nice slipstream to perhaps think about sending one up on the inside. Remember, these drivers that he's battling with around him at the moment too, my friend, have not made pit stops.
Not quite yet, but side by side nonetheless. Mackenzie Roon on the outside. Last time he tried that, it didn't go quite well for him. This time, though, it could be in contrast. He's actually looking very quick. A great run, very clever driving as well from the man who could well be leading the championship after today. Mackenzie Roon fighting for a position when all points matter, especially in that battle with David Holland, who is not attending today. Into the final chicane, taking a nice slow in, fast out approach, maybe searching for that move into turn number 1. He's got the run, he closes the gap. Is it close enough? Not quite. And yet it's another lap, still behind the Norwegian. If he wants anything more out of this race, he needs to get a move on.
Oh, that was close to the wall as well. I was going to say, if anything, not just passing the car up the road, but also keeping your car on the road is going to be more crucial than anything. As Mackenzie's feisted his way up for the 11 machine, he's tasted a lot of those treats that you have there in Norway at the moment, and Peter's going to try to deny him as much as possible, because remember, this is also cutting into any chance that he has to slice his way back up through a podium of 23 or 38. He knows a lot of the drivers up the road, you could see on your timing tower, have not made pit stops, so he will gain some places, but this has got to be frustrating him once he wants to get those banker laps in.
That is true. Of course, the gap in the championship between David Holland and Mackenzie Roon, 11 points, because Mackenzie Roon, while yes, he's not quite been able to beat David Holland just yet, he's been second best, and that gives him really good chances in terms of staying close in the championship, only losing 3 points around. However, now all he needs to do is score 11 to get himself back in lead of the championship. And, well, he's going to be able to do that, I'm sure, he needs to finish 9th to score 11 points. And right now he's in the shout for potentially what could be a top 5. Petter Vedding makes his way down pit lane for his first and only stop, hopefully, of the race. Another incident for Angelico, unfortunately, as he, well, finds himself on the wrong stuff of the racetrack through the fast right-hander. And again, the car just looping around, not cooperating with him whatsoever. But a good save nonetheless.
Yeah, it was. And this man, Alex, of course, will have to go back to the self-entitled Muppets Racing 222 machine, as he's leading this race by 8 seconds and change down the road there from Robert Ridgway. And of course, Daniel is still in that P3 position, started in P3, currently in P3. So Dan the man with the man that has all the fans out there, and hopefully his family's supporting. Of course, he's got Auntie Mary watching out there, and siblings, sisters, mothers, brothers, probably their cats and dogs that are even supporting him out there. And good on him, sticking there for that podium position. He's got, what, 4 seconds or so to Model East, and pit stops are going to be crucial, isn't it? Getting that spotting, Zach. Make sure you don't speed, hit the brakes, stop on your racing spot, specifically in the pit road, so that, once again, we spoke about earlier, the pit crew can get the jack in there, take those tires off. Well, no tires, actually. You said just a stop and go, right? And then bank out again.
Stop. 3 seconds of fuel off your pop, mate. Doesn't take that much longer. However, it's the tricky things, as you say, the small things. Going in is hard enough. Making sure you don't speed. Making sure you hit the right marks for your pit lane. Making sure you don't overshoot or undershoot. And making sure you don't disable the pit lane limiter too soon. Otherwise, to risk speeding. Again, you wouldn't even give them a second thought. You wouldn't even practice them in a session, but they are vital parts of a pit stop. And Andy Yeager showing the vitalness of making moves on track to the inside, running his way through the long double right-hander here at the midpoint of the circuit. He's up now into 8th place and settling in just ahead of Petter Vedding. But yeah, again, you wouldn't even give them a second thought. You wouldn't practice them in a practice session, but they're things you need to nail on every time you work your way into the pit lane, planned or unplanned, because if you miss your pit box, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds of a loss. You disable the pit limiter, you speed in the pit lane, wherever it is, again, you will cost yourself lap time. Mackenzie Roon down to the pit lane for the second time so far this race.
Way early on the pit stops on that one. So I wonder if he had that little bit of damage that you said that might need to be repaired and elected not to get it repaired, although it's instant.
Or is it a drive-through?
It could be. Dan, what's happened to Daniel here too? Did Dan go? No, Dan didn't go in. No, Daniel, uh-oh. Look away to the Whitfield family right now. Don't look, because something's happened to Dan the man.
Yeah. He's in a fight, of course, with Ridgway, or at least was, into the final. The penultimate chicane this is, and he's done a Mackenzie Rune. Locked the rears. Unfortunate. It happens. He's moved on. He's in 4th place. What this does mean is that Model East Kiko has found a way onto the podium, Dean.
Yeah, she does it, doesn't she? Quietly. Silent, but very... I was going to say silent, but violent rhymes, but I don't know. I didn't know the word silent, but just, you know, pacey, just quiet. Just getting the job done when you need to get the job done. And I mean, again, Model East is not really one of those quiet drivers on the track that you'd mentioned earlier at the top of the show. She's always generally in the wars. She generally has somebody around her. At this point, she's only got Daniel down the road at 1.6 after that little mistake. And Robert's like, a ton of time up the road there. So we'll see it pans out in the pit stop situation. As you can see still, Ryan Long, I wonder how much. We keep it. Let's look at those times. We need to keep an eye on those times too. There, Mr. Zachary, to see what sort of bankers that they're doing in right now, because it's a crucial part of the race where you're crunching your pit stop strategy.
Yes, you are. Again, not the most important thing in the world in a race series like this, but can still make a difference, as we say, with the small things that add up. I have just got word from Mackenzie Rune, by the way, that he's not had a good day. He said, to quote, "Oof, what a day for me. 7 minutes of required repairs, so I'm out." He is out of the race.
You're not going to come back out there and get at least a point? I mean...
Get something.
Yeah.
It could be the championship lead. Get something out of today.
We were talking about that earlier, weren't we? We were going back to the situation of Massa and all those championships that have been won or lost by a point. Don't want to come back and review this and watch this one back later going, why didn't I go back out? Why didn't I go back out? 1 point could have made all the difference.
Yep. At worst, it closes the gap. At best, it gives you the lead. Mackenzie Rune, unfortunately, not having the best of days. Maybe not too concerned about the championship. Whatever his intentions are, it is unfortunate to see. Alex Rivera closing into the final 10 laps of this race. I suppose it's closer to 11. He sets the fastest lap, an 11.2. Wow. Rapid for Alex Rivera. Again, we said earlier on in the day that an 11.9 was a quick time. Kiko works away into pit lane and gives the P3 back to Dan Whitfield, albeit momentarily, because he's also got to make a trip down into the pit lane as well. She's out, and well, she's back out onto circuit, giving her absolute best. Guy Kiao as well for the Benelux driver, still yet to make a pit stop, but still running quite well in the top 5. A big range of pit windows then for these drivers to come in then, Dean. We've had drivers that came in 10 laps ago, and we've got drivers that are still yet to come in.
Yep, and that's the beauty of adding pit stops to a motor race, whether it's fuel or tyres or any other situation. It basically breaks it up so that we don't actually essentially have a snore fest of a race. I mean, that's the reason why they added Formula 1 and stuff too, isn't it? Because otherwise you have a little bit of a laydown. That's 100% race, and trust me, I've done it a million times, is that they go, oh wait, what happened? Oh, pit stops. Okay, great. Let me wake up again. Get the popcorn. There's pit stops. And then you go back to sleep after. Well, that's why you have them. And at the moment, we'll see whether or not this man saying fastest and fastest and fastest laps going, I don't want a box, Alex says. I'm going quicker. The team's going, Alex, you're going to have the box, mate. You got the box. It's like, why? Why? I can pull 110s for you if you want. Just tell me when. Give me the boost. Give me the mode 6.
Don't quite think these Formula 3 cars are that complicated to be running hybrids. They don't have hybrids. They are, I think they're naturally aspirated. They might be turbo. I think they are naturally aspirated cars. I mean,
this is a part of your... Oh, sorry, there's somebody saying the pit mode. You're supposed to know this, mate. You are studying an apprentice. Aren't you an apprentice? Well, you're obviously studying motor cars. Oh, it's flying this thing around. Oh, a little oversteer moment, cutting right into the inside apron. Perfectly legally and allowed here. Sorry to cut you off there, Zach, but go ahead.
Of course. No, it's fine. Well, yes, I am right. Actually, there are 3.4 6-cylinder naturally aspirated spec engines, which means they've got no supercharger, no turbocharger, no hybrid power unit, none of that. They are pure, beautiful,
traction control?
raw cars. No, none of those. I don't even think they've got power assisted steering.
What?
So that means they're very heavy. You feel everything, and yeah, fun, raw cars that we love to hear, love to watch, love to race. And the junior formulas I love because it is just pure passion. It is just so fundamental, back to basics really when it comes to driving. Of course, they are very fast cars and should not be treated as a basic machine, but you strip all the complexity of a Formula 1 car down and you get this, and it is magical to drive. Again, you know, they sound with an actually aspirated, there's no turbo flat or anything, which could be to the like or dislike of some. I personally, I quite like turbo flat, but on a Formula 3 car, I like the loudness, just the exhaust popping at the back end of it. And yeah, of course, pops and bangs.
So obviously, but the biggest thing is no power steering. Now, I'm sure most of us out there, including the chat, let us know if you have. You get inside those go-karts, it's a friendly go-kart track, you know, down the street. You don't have to be a professional driver or anything like that. Everybody can jump into a go-kart, regardless of your age as well. Usually get your butt kicked by 8-year-olds out the go-kart track, but still. The biggest thing you find from that when you haven't been in racing at all before is that how sore your arms are without the power steering, because your regular cars have it. Now, you're telling these cars don't have power steering as Daniel goes into pit road. That's going to be tough, I mean, on your hands, isn't it? Especially in the case of the racing rigs that you have with the force feedback.
For sure, yeah. Again, we were talking about force feedback as Dan Whitfield is into the pit lane, but we've got Bananas and Sushi, aka Mackenzie Roon, into the YouTube chat as well, talking about how that has been his worst race ever so far, and has wished everyone else some good luck. So great sportsmanship shown from the championship protagonist, Modley's Kiko.
Get out there, Mac! Get out there! He got 7 laps! Oh, his car's too damaged, but here he is sitting at the moment. It's just all dinged up. I can understand that from Mac, but give us a wave, my friend. You're still in the car. Which means you haven't completely given up yet.
Maybe. Out of contention, to say the least. But, yes. Great sportsmanship show.
Oh, Brian Long's had a little bit of a moment, my friend. Let's have a look at this real quick there, because Brian is, as you mentioned, you're talking all this about Ryan. He's lost a place currently at the moment, but what's happened to Bazza? Oh, no. Bazza's actually Barry, not Brian. Yep, that's typical turn 1 to turn 2, but kept it out of the fence and still back in it. And he's currently running in P6. He's taking his pit stop. He still has Guy up the road. The Guy is not taking his pit stop, so I think Brian will retake that position because you can see it's a 9-second gap. Need a little bit more time than that, Mr. Guy, to get that job done. So let's see how Brian can handle that. And we're still waiting for our race leader as well as Robert running in P2 to take a pit stop.
Indeed so. Yeah. He is going to work his way through. Also, Guy Kiao yet to make a stop also, so plenty still to play for in the final 6 laps. Of course, just still waiting for Alex Rivera to work his way into the pit lane, as we say, but it should be an issue. He is so far ahead. He is crazy quick. Mackenzie Roon told that he's already been used, has already used his fast repair of the day. So he's put it in the best format possible. Charlotte 1, Mackenzie 0. He's been conquered by the Charlotte Roval. Here's Alex Rivera, though, riding on board with the Formula 3 machine. He flies his way through 1, up the hill and down the crest, through 2, into 3. Again, 5th gear corner, slight lift as you brake and turn at the same time through this long right-hander. 3rd gear, use all the track because iRacing lets you. You're pretty much flat out through this right and then immediately onto the anchors because once again, you're turning, you're braking, you're balancing the car through the apex, over the crest once again, blind through the left. You've got to keep the car pinned. You've got to hope that you've got the grip. One of the most important corners on the circuit is that quick flick to the left, down to 3rd gear to get the rotation, back up to 4th as we battle our way through the oval now, completely flat out there. Be careful of the apron on the inside, and now run your way to the outside of the circuit to bring yourself into the chicane. Very reminiscent of the Le Mans chicane at Daytona, albeit a little bit slower. 3rd gear, 2nd gear for the rotation. Clamp your way over the apex. Again, use the track as much as you can because the sim lets you through NASCAR 3 and 4, and then you'll work your way once again into another chicane. Quite stop-start, arguably, as into the pit lane. In fact, actually comes Alex Rivera, so straight on the pit limiter, getting it stopped. And well, should be no issues for the race leader.
And as a broadcasting aspect at the moment, unfortunately, we don't show you the lollipop man or woman that comes out there and holds that to let you know your pit stops. And it can get very busy down the pit road. Luckily, he has it all by himself. So you should be able to just turn it at the moment there, spot the lollipop person, and then get on there perfectly. So you don't delay any second as he crosses through, unfortunately, Mr. Mackenzie's stricken car. up there, in and out. That's a great pit stop at the moment. He's also at the end of the entry of exit of the box there, so he's practically got, what would you say, a Red Bull or Mercedes pit stops. As you know, they get the business end of the pit lane, and if you're likes of Williams and so forth, get the other end. He's back out again, and comfortably in the lead of this, well, not in the lead of this race, just, but that's how, was that pit stop there, Zachary? 4.4?
Yeah, give or take in the end. Not too bad in the end for our race leader. Robert Ridgway momentarily inherits the race lead. He's also got the faster lap as well. An 11 dead for Ridgway, who started 4th and is looking pretty good in this race for should be a 2nd place. Guy Kiao into the pit lane also. He's down on the
Brian's going to get him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, easily up to 5th for Brian Long. Despite a couple of issues, he's still going to be able to bag a top 5. Not a bad result at all.
So Robert's going to go in and he's going to hear a zoom by, and it's going to be like, what is that? That is the 222 machine. Resuming the lead of the race as Alex is going to be passing on by, saying, thank you very much. I'll take that one away from you again, Robert. More importantly, this is a great battle brewing up here because this is for track position. So Dan's on the back there of Mod after Dan made that little bit of mistake, and then Mod easily, well, not easily, but of course snuck on through there and took that position. Dan's back. And Dan wants revenge on, he says, that was my position there, Mod, and I want it back. Even though I made a mistake, let's see. Let's settle our differences on track here on lap 35 and 38.
Yeah, and that's the best way to do it, is to get the fisticuffs out and start battling away out on circuit, especially as the lights come on here at Charlotte. The sun begins to set into the final few laps of round number 5 of the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship. Exactly the race that we would like to kickstart the second half of this brilliant season. And of course, what's to come? We're here tonight at Charlotte Roval. We go to Spa, Watkins Glen and Aragon to round off the championship, spanning all the way to the middle of September. It will be myself, Zach Sweeney and Dean Biggles to talk you through all of the action. And we, for one, cannot wait to see what the rest of the season has in store for us. But we've got to conclude Charlotte first, and Dan Whitfield versus Model-E's Kiko. This is going to be a battle to remember. She is not going to give this podium up without a fight.
Oh, she loves it. She loves being surrounded by cars everywhere on track, because that's called a motor race, as she would say, and she's going to have to put up a fight there. Of course, Dan, the man, has the family out there, everybody out there. As I said, the kitchen sink, the pets, the animals, the uncles, the aunties. And he needs that fan boost right now to do something about it as he goes a little bit on the outside here. We're down to the dying stages there, Zach. About 2 and change. 3 laps to go, really. Bod's going to do her best. Dan's going to do his best. Let's see how it pans out.
Yeah, indeed. 2.5 laps left of this brilliant race. We hope everyone at home is enjoying us tuning in on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. Remember to like, subscribe and turn the bell on for notifications to not miss a single thing that comes your way in terms of sim racing. We're here for the Formula 3s. We've got Radicals, NASCARs, open wheels, endurances, you name it, it's here and it will find you and, well, give you some good old entertainment here on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. So why not stick around? We're approaching 1,500 subscribers here on the YouTube channel as well. Plenty of league race action to talk you through all of your weeks. We've got our native members of the likes of Phil across the pond and Rhea Raccoon, both of whom are here for pretty much every single broadcast. Alex Rivera, though, setting the pace, a 1:10.7. He's finally been let loose, Dean. He's finally found mode 6 and he's into the 1:10.
Yeah, I like you call that mode 6 as well too. Yeah, he's already owned it. If you're setting fastest laps, you're doing a Max Verstappen right now, absolutely. I know there's a little bit of a battle brewing down there for P9 on top of that one. So, Anthony, maybe a last-ditch effort there to get an overtake done. Hey, a point's a point. I'll take that any day of the week, mate. Usually, if I was a motor racer on my keyboard, no force feedback, I would be trying my best. Then again, I would never even attempt to do anything about this. But see, attempt. Let's see if Daniel can attempt his way, perhaps into a podium position with the fans around, as Alex Rivera, of course, is still wondering, like, can we bring on the next race, Zach? He's probably he's halfway driving there already.
Oh, probably, yeah, 100%. He's on his way to Spa, which is all the way across the Atlantic. We go from Charlotte, which I think is on the East Coast. There's Dan Whitfield over the curb onto the final lap of this race.
He's got to compose himself. He's got a 30-something second gap there at the moment to Brian, so just get back on there and say, hey, nothing gained, nothing lost, mate. Still P4. He went for it, didn't work, but we'll have to go to Alex, of course, because whatever he went for has worked. The 222 machine. Got it on pole, and gonna finish there with Barney waving his very, very strong hand. Barney, always there, always reliable. So is this man, Alex Rivera.
Indeed he is, and he's always here to turn up the heat and bring on the show. Brian Long, unfortunately, only 5th place for him, which is still a good result, but just ahead of him down Whitfield. Again, the improvements are constant from the man. Again, he's got his family cheering him on in the YouTube chat, but another unfortunate mistake. Still waiting on that perfect weekend to hook up, because I think once he does it, his confidence will be sky high and it'll be more to come. He'll wait long enough for one bus and 2 will come at once. I'm seeing it now. Dan Whitfield will be taking a race win this season. If not, he'll take plenty to come in the next. However, tonight, it's Rivera's night here at Charlotte. He's now under the lights here in the Charlotte Roval Road Course. Round number 5 of the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship goes the way of the American. The 222 machine finds himself to the top step of the podium once again. There is his iRacing driver in full force. And well, Robert Ridgway will join him on a very well-deserved podium as well. Modely's Kiko will get her very well-deserved podium as well through the final chicane and across the line. She said she'd check in with us in about 3/4 of an hour. I'm sure she's going to have plenty to say. Dan Whitfield, an unfortunate 4th, but what could have been for the Englishman across the line. Brian Long will round off the top 5. What a race it's been for the Sim Racing for Simpletons driver. Guy Kiao, Andy Yeager, Peter Wedding, Anthony Zeich, those that will cross the line as race finishers. And then, of course, Mackenzie Roon and Dominic Angelico, those that haven't. 38 laps of racing here in Charlotte, Dean, and it's been quite a bit of fun.
Oh, this has been absolute fun. I love it. This is a great racetrack, great racing league, and great racing drivers putting everything it possibly can. Even Brian's going to be 30-something seconds and change down the road. He's still going to see Barney, and he's still going to have to celebrate as he does. He locks the rear road of the brake there and says, thank you very much. Guy has here gained 2 positions too. You got to remember, if you're gaining in a race, it's always a good thing to do. So he's going to slide that 17 machine across the line as well as everybody else has. So absolute cracker of a race there. Sorry, Susan, and everybody to the Whitfield family there. But Dan gave it, didn't he? He gave a last-ditch opportunity as a guy going to be doing some burnouts, I presume, here at the moment. But yeah, here's Daniel. He gave it everything he had. If he got a season opportunity, and he had, luckily, a bit of time up his sleeve to gamble. Really, race results for you right now, live.
Well, Alex Rivera, the 222, takes the win ahead of Robert Ridgway and Modely's Kiko on the podium. Dan Whitfield, Brian Long, the top 5 with Guy Kiao and Andy Yeager just in behind. Peter Wedding, Anthony Zeich and Mackenzie Roon, the top 10, albeit with Roon not making it to the checker flag. Dominic Angelico rounds off the 11 car field that we've got here today. Well, I suppose the only thing to do is to kickstart this round of interviews with Mackenzie Roon. Not the day for you today, Mackenzie.
Yeah, not a lot of words for me today. Charlotte definitely won. But congrats to everybody. Obviously, Alex on the win. Yeah, just not my day. I kept making mistake after mistake, and I don't even know what to say. That was a shocker.
It was. I'll be brutal with that one. It was not the Mackenzie Roon that we're used to. But there's still a few rounds of the season to come, and I'm sure you'll be back in Spa.
I will, yeah. Thanks for the broadcast, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Mackenzie Roon. And, well, take care. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you back next week, I'm sure, with maybe some happier news.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Mackenzie Roon, thank you for at least coming to have a little bit of a chat with us now. Actually, no, we'll save Mod for a little bit later. We'll come to her just after Mr. Brian Long. Hello, good sir. Welcome in. Not a bad race for you, it must be said. Couple of little moments, but a top 5 finish. Take a bow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, top 5. It felt like it should have been 9th, but it's just, I think the attrition on this track caught everybody off guard, myself included. So I'll take 5. Also, congrats to a lot of the guys who finished ahead of me that I think it's their best finish of the season. So congrats to them. I know that was probably a lot of fun.
Of course, it was actually a really good race here at Charlotte. A lot of close battling. A fun circuit, though. You sort of compared it to street racing a little bit earlier on, and I think that really did show forward today. But it flows really nicely, and I'm sure a lot of fun in these Formula 3 cars.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was this was kind of my little experiment. Every time we make the schedule for the new season, I retain the right to put one of my own selections on there, and this was mine just to just to mix it up. All of our races are usually, at a traditional GP track, and it's in the morning when the conditions are nice and cold, and so it was kind of fun to mix it up. Put it on a track that really there was no real material to practice with. Like, there were no videos to look back on. There was no lap times to go and compare to. So everybody had to kind of learn this week, versus tracks where they've had a lot of practice. So it was, I think it was overall a success. It got a little darker than I wanted at the end, but otherwise it was a lot of fun.
Looked good. Looked fun as well. Of course, we'll pretty much go to the polar opposite in a week's time when we head over the Atlantic into Spa. How are you feeling about that one? I think with the slipstream and stuff, we're in for a good race.
I think Spa is going to be a lot of fun. I think also we're going to have a lot of people show up for that race, so it's going to be a bigger grid than we've had in the last couple. And it's just, who doesn't love Spa, right? That's, everyone says Spa's my track, Spa's my favorite. So we'll see whose it really is, but I can't wait. Spa's a blast.
Awesome. Before we let you go, is there any shout outs you want to be given to the YouTube chat?
I just wanted to come in and thank you guys. I didn't finish top 3. I wasn't here to really do like a victory lap, but I just wanted to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast this season, and thank you to everybody who's been watching, all the families that show up to come watch, and to our drivers who keep coming. So thank you, everybody. And to those of you who are in the F4 League that are watching, I know there's a few of you. If you guys are interested in getting into this F3 stuff next season, we'll be coming back in October. So hope you all come. And thank you guys for doing what you do.
Awesome stuff. Well, take care. We'll see you in a week's time, and hopefully 4th place, maybe a step better, maybe even a step onto the podium, Brian.
One day, maybe. That's my goal. One time this season, a podium would be awesome. I already got one in Zolder. Never mind, we're good.
That's true.
I'm done.
That's true. You've ticked. That's it. You've accomplished all there is to do. Well, thank you very much, Brian, and well, let's get another one. Back to Belgium. Let's do it.
That's right. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care to you too. Brian Long, and now we get to start on the podium. We've got, first up, Modley's Kiko, and well, I've saved you for a little bit, Mod, because usually we come to you first, but today was some good news. You got yourself a podium. Again, your consistency, your just the sheer perseverance to get your way through, and you've bagged a podium.
Yeah, that was an epic race, fighting Brian. But when he took a spin there, I totally lost concentration. I thought, I'm going to hit a wall if I don't get back into the zone here. So I backed it off a little bit, and by doing that, I actually found a bit of lap time. And I thought, I was just overdriving, so I just stayed in that little zone for a bit. And then I was like, what happened with Daniel? I've got a Daniel race going on, and that was scary stuff.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure it was quite a big sigh of relief when, unfortunately, Daniel sent his way sideways. A lot of pressure off your shoulders, I'm sure, but are you feeling confident to replicate the success in a week's time at Spa?
I'm going to be 200 miles from home, so I'm not going to be near a rig, unfortunately. I'm missing a big Spa race.
Take it with you.
Yeah. We'll do a Max Verstappen. We'll fly a rig in for you.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, no problem. I'll just do that. Yeah.
Easy peasy. If there's Wi-Fi, there's a chance. Easy.
I'm sure everyone would love me to be in a hotel Wi-Fi. That would be a sight.
I race at a keyboard, Mod. You can do it.
Yeah. Well, maybe the week after.
Yeah, absolutely. You keep your foot in it, and you can get results, even against a fast field. So that's my philosophy.
Of course. Well, before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you want to be given?
I'm going to give a shout-out to me and my mum, because it's our birthday this weekend. So
it is, of course.
Happy birthday.
Of course it is. That birthday shone through for you, like we said. We knew it would. Well, happy birthday to you both, and well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you very much. Take care.
And you. Bye-bye. Modley's Kiko. P3 here today. And, well, yet another really good result. Now we move on to the second step of the podium. Robert Ridgway. Hello. Welcome in. And not a bad result here today in Charlotte.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too shabby at all.
Nice job. Well, talk us through your race. Of course, it seemed to be quite a difficult one. Of course, qualifying on that second row, but very swiftly moving your way through the pack.
So I didn't know this track very well, so I actually put some practice laps in this week, and then got lucky. One fast guy didn't show up. Thank you, Mr. Holland, and Mackenzie Ruin fell down. And then probably the greatest fight was against Whitfield. That was fun. That was tough getting by.
Yeah, you seem to have a good little struggle with him, but fair play to him. Really, really good stuff. And well, I suppose we go to the polar opposite of this track in a week's time. We'll go to Spa. Will we see you there? And, well, what are your expectations? How do you like Spa? Surely it's a good track for you, right?
I'm excited, especially doing
Nice.
fixed setup. I don't have to like you could mess around with the setup so much at Spa. So yeah, I'm excited to just get out there and draft my way to maybe another podium. Let's see.
Let's do it. Easy peasy in the slipstream. Yeah, flat out all the way. Well, Robert, thank you for joining us, and well, we'll see you in a week's time, hopefully with some similar success.
Thank you. Great broadcast, guys.
Of course, thank you very much, Robert Ridgway. And now, finally, we'll go to the man himself, Alexander Rivera. Hello. I mean, again, we don't get to see you too often because, you know, you're barely ever here. But when you do show up, it's almost certain that we're going to come have a chat with you, mate. What a race.
Yeah, man, that was a fun race. What a tough track.
It is. Very street circuit-esque. But you mastered it. And, well, there we go. In the booth, P1, Alex Rivera, a.k.a. the greatest of all time. At least when he shows up. He's the greatest when he shows up. But not
I
bad.
don't know about that. I think David's gonna take that crown. I think he's already taken that crown.
Okay, shh. Self-confidence. Let us sell the bit while he's not here. Let us like celebrate someone else while he's away. But in a week's time he will be back. But we'll be at Spa, so maybe the slipstream could keep everyone nice and close.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I just finished another race last weekend at Spa, so I feel prepared. I think I like Spa. It's a good racing track. Slipstream's giving me hope.
It is. Well, best of luck to you for then in a week's time. But before we let you go, any shout-outs that you want to be given?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Brian. Like, once again, he's put on a great series, great race, and this is not a track that many people race at all. And this was a ton of fun in these cars. I think this is one of my now favorite track in the F3. I feel it kind of kills me that Mackenzie had that mistake there because I thought he was gonna keep me honest. He's been super quick here all the time. And then David, shout out to David for letting everybody else have a chance.
Yeah, that is true. He's just taken a week off. He's chilling, and well, I'm sure he'll be back to bring you back down to reality in a week's time. Who knows what's to come? But yeah, a very good race nonetheless, Alex, and hopefully we'll see you back in a week's time.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'll see you then.
Awesome stuff. Take care, Alex.
Did you see that? Sorry, I mean, sorry. This could have been a moment where it all went pole-shaped, and I don't usually have to rewind on. But did you see how he took this chicane here? Look at this. That went almost absolutely pole-shaped into the fence there at that one. But anyway, it didn't, and he got the race result, so a.k.a. Alex the GOAT, getting it done in Charlottetown.
Well, unfortunately, we are going to have to say goodbye to Charlotte. It's going to be the second to last time we're here in North America. We'll go to Spa. Not a very economic calendar, it must be said, Brian. You know, we criticise Formula One for being all over the place. We've been all over the place. We went from Belgium to Suzuka to Canada to the UK to America. We're going back to Europe, and then we're going to New York again, and then back to Spain. So we're making plenty of trips all across the Atlantic, getting the miles in. However, a very, very good calendar nonetheless. And the beauty of sim racing is that we can get away with it with our massive carbon footprint. We've had to say goodbye to Charlotte Roval, and what a race it was. One of the best of the season. In a week's time, on the 2nd of September, the Sim Racing for Simpletons Formula 3 Championship will take to Spa. It'll be myself, Zach Sweeney, Dean Biggles, alongside me here in the commentary booth, talking you through all of the action here live on the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. Make sure you've liked, subscribed, and turn the bell on to make sure you do not miss a single thing, because this championship should be one to remember. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, take care, have a fantastic week, and a very warm goodbye.